Hey everybody, I've got good news! Now there are people who presumably speak English and yet still think I'm a legitimate gaming journalist. Those unlucky souls being the publishers of Skylar Plux Adventure on Clover Island, a 3D platformer recently released for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. You play as Skylar, an amnesiac mute space cat with a superpowered mechanical arm, and are accompanied by Plux, a snarky sidekick who the game insists is totally helping Skylar out and saving the world, even though the most he ever accomplishes is making the bad guy feel sad. In order to stop said bad guy, an evil television named CRT, they have to explore Clover Island, which consists of a small hub area and 3 branches featuring linear obstacle courses to make your way through, with nooks and crannies containing health upgrades and cages hidden along the way. Story-wise, while I don't think this game is particularly well written, it's got charm to it and kept me genuinely interested in what would be happening at the end the whole way through. You won't feel lonely because at regular intervals between the platforming challenges, CRT and Plux will engage in some kind of witty banter or attempt at a joke. They even have a bit of world building going on, with a few lines in the rescued health upgrades hinting at a larger universe and mysterious ancient civilization that's left around incredible technology called the progenitors! Totally the progenitors, and nothing else! The devs have been vocal about the game being an attempt to capture the spirit of 3D platformers of old, particularly the PS2 era. If you've played any of those, a lot of the base moveset is going to be pretty familiar. You can punch, you can spin, you can double jump. Spinning gives you a little extra jump. Hold the jump button for a slower descent. Attack in the air to pound the ground fist first. Crouch and jump for an easy high jump. You can roll jump during a roll to boost forward. I particularly want to thank the devs for putting effort into making all these techniques feel great to use. They're executed immediately on button press and end quickly as well, allowing you to switch to something else pretty easily based on what you want to do at the current moment. Most of the moves aren't even necessarily required, they're just a lot of options that you can use at your discretion to explore the world or fight enemies. Combat with enemies isn't anything terribly complex, but the base moveset combined with abilities found in each level keep things interesting as the game goes on. There was never a point where I felt I was being put into a combat situation pointlessly. You get the time-slowing ability and fight just enough enemies to understand its practical implications before you get to the magnet arm, at which point you get to start exploring the battle applications you can do with that. This sort of does lead into the biggest thing that makes me most hesitant to tell you to buy Skylar Plux right now. Though I wouldn't necessarily call it a flaw in the game itself, it's short, and there's not much replay value. At 100% completion, I'd put in 6.5 hours, a good portion of that just being the replaying of all 3 main levels to find the last few health upgrades. And yes, other than the tutorial and boss, there are only 3 levels, and yes, there's only 1 boss. It's a game that doesn't overstay its welcome, and it is certainly welcome during the time spent with it, but I do also feel that there's much more they could do even with the mechanics as they are. Like, even if they didn't introduce any new elements, they could have easily doubled the game's playtime by expanding on the ones that already exist. Worth noting, the game never challenges the player either. While it's fun to experiment with abilities, they're really more toys without any significant encounters to force you to use them. It's a thoroughly enjoyable 5-hour game, and I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. I'll be interested in seeing if Right Nice Games try to explore 3D platforming more in the future. Arigato gozaimasu desu for watching, everybody. Once again, let me know how much my review structure sucks so I can suck less in the comments below, and get out of my house.